That bass is hitting, right?
Yeah, man. Turn me down a little bit.
Is that better?
Yeah, it's a little better right there, man. Right there, that's cool. Yeah,
Hello?
that's better right there.
Okay. Because I was like, damn.
Yeah, I was taking my head right now. I'm awake, I'm here.
Can't be letting Brandon say, I can't hear, it's too low now.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and we are live.
What it do? It's your boy B. Damone in the house with Coach Gomez.
What up?
And we are back at Level Up Production Studios. This is episode 131 of Along the Wire, bringing you the latest, greatest, and best in San Antonio high school football coverage. We thank you for tuning in with us on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. Remember, we are interactive, so if you have any questions or any comments, go ahead and tweet at us. Go ahead and let me turn the sound off on my stuff. So episode 131 of Along the Wire, we're interactive. Message us and we will respond. It's been 2 weeks. You know, schools are going through their bye weeks, so we took a little bye weeks, and back refreshed.
Yeah.
Got some family time in, got some quality time in, and
A lot of football in.
a lot of football.
A lot of college football.
College football, yes, a lot of college football. And hey, we're in San Antonio. And there is an undefeated college football squad here, UTSA. Congratulations, Coach Traylor, Sincere McCormick, Rashad Wisdom, boys from San Antonio, Frank Harris, quarterback.
Yeah.
And they put a whooping on Rice last night.
Yeah.
That was awesome. That was impressive. It was really fun to be there and see the 27,515 people. That was the official attendance.
Yeah. So
it was good to see that. And man, seeing the squad after the game going through the tunnel and saying, great game to everybody. Got to see Dre Spriggs, got to talk to him, Cameron Scott, Rigsby, and Sincere stopped and spoke with me. So that was cool to see all of them. And it couldn't happen to a better squad.
Yeah.
You see them keeping focus, and you see them doing exactly like their coaches are asking. From the I say the lack of penalties. I look at that and I see that there's a focus, because a lot of times when you're getting penalties, that's some selfish stuff.
Yeah.
And it's some undisciplined things. So the fact that they're rolling and they don't shoot themselves in the foot, that's a big part of their success, period.
Yeah.
So shout out to UTSA, Coach Traylor, Coach Price, Coach Lunny, everybody out there. Congratulations, 7-0. And next week, La Tech. So that's on the road, and they are newly ranked. I didn't even say that yet.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say, man. I mean, everybody was saying, rank us, rank them, rank us, rank them, like everybody. So you're ranked now. All right, y'all wanted that. Here it comes. You know what I mean? So it's staying there now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You got La Tech, you got UAB.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You got some squads that you still got to play that aren't really. I mean, you can lose any game, and they got to be played though.
Right.
And at the end of the day, they've been holding their own.
Right.
So I have confidence in them,
Right.
as long as they don't eat the cheese.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right. And now, even though they haven't won the conference yet, you are that you go from hitting the targets to being the target.
Yeah, for sure.
So you're gonna get if you haven't gotten everybody's level of effort trying to knock you off, now you're definitely gonna get it. You're definitely gonna get it.
Even more, man. So it's exciting for the city. It's exciting for the local high school recruits. Hopefully to try to keep a lot of people in-house, because a lot of those guys that are having success out there are in-house guys. You know what I mean? So they're all from the city.
Exactly. So once again, congratulations from Along the Wire, B. Damone and Coach Gomez to UTSA, and y'all keep on pushing.
Yep.
So speaking of rankings, this morning I put out the new top 25 for Along the Wire, and we're gonna go over that real quick because I can't wait to get to the meat of the pause. To the main subjects, of the show. So let's go ahead, and I'm gonna pull it up on the. Oh, you already got it up there. That's right.
Yes,
all right.
Sir.
I was about to go on my computer, forgetting technology allows me to look over here. So let's go from 25 up. Brackenridge is down after a loss. 225. No, Brackenridge is down after a loss, and let me pull up their win losses.
5-3.
Yes, they are at 5-3 now. Come on, Apple. Sorry, because I have the previous weeks up here. All right, Brackenridge lost to a unranked Kennedy. They lost 14-7, so they take a drop down to 25. At 24, we have Southwest, who lost to Legacy 16-10. So they take a drop 3 spots from 21 to 24. Lanier lost to Highlands.
Yeah, that's 2 in a row, huh?
Yeah.
It's like Edison found out how to beat him, and everybody else just took notes.
You get the blueprint, so to speak.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, you would expect a school like Highlands, you may assume, would have better athletes than Edison. And if they're able to put it together coaching-wise and, follow the instructions, then, you should be able to handle up exactly how Edison did. Lanier dropped 6 spots from 17 to 23. Highlands pops in at number 22 after being unranked, and they're on a 3-game win streak now.
Yeah.
So these teams get high. I get asked, how come schools pop in and they pop out? It's like, well, if you were already out of the rankings, then you probably weren't having the best of time. But if you catch a 3-4 game win streak, then all that adds up. And schools move up and down all the time. You're definitely going to notice, and that's what I like about doing the rankings is that there's always going to be some type of movement. And I love those conversations. Number 20, East Central.
Yeah.
Jack Stewart, jump ball Jack with the last second touchdown over Judson, which puts them, and we're going to talk about East Central later, that puts them on a winning streak as well. And they've got a big game coming up next week. So congrats to East Central at 5-2. They pop into the top 25 at number 20. And at 19, we've got Holmes. Holmes took a fall.
Yeah.
Holmes took a fall to Harlan. And man, like I want to get to the next subject. But so they dropped from 15 to 19. At 18 now, number 24 last week is now at 18 after they beat Holmes. So they're 1 spot above, and they are now 5-3. They are now 5-3.
Harlan.
Yeah.
Figuring it out.
Yes. Seguin, 5-2, up 5 spots. They beat McCullum, and they go from 22 to 17. If you notice, those are some pretty big jumps, right?
Yeah, for sure.
But everybody below them, or who was ahead of them last week, took some pretty major losses. So you have some schools that aren't ranked anymore. If you notice, Antonian's gone. They lost 51 to. I'm sorry. They lost 35-14, I believe.
Yeah, to St. Thomas.
Right. So next up at 16 is Davenport. They won 77-0.
First year program too.
Yeah,
they're rolling
77-0, and I keep going back to it. They were beating a state champion at halftime.
Yeah.
First year program. Program. So 5-2. Shout out to Davenport at number 16. Number 15 keeps trucking Somerset. I'm glad to see them continuing to win after taking the loss to Cuero. I know the kids really wanted that game, and how they lost that game, you might think there might be a hangover, but there's not.
No, there was not, man. It's definitely a learning curve for them. They probably made some adjustments. They got exposed in certain areas, and they say, hey, we're just going to be a stronger team after this. And like you said, they don't have that hangover. They kept doing what they needed to do and still getting W's.
Exactly. So once again, not once again, but to bring up Southwest Legacy, they are the team that did defeat Southwest and dropped them from 18 to 24, and now they move up to 14. Actually, they maintain their spot at 14 from last week, and the rest of the top 25 is gridlock. It is no change. You still have Bernie Champion at 13. You still have New Braunfels at 12. Marshall at 11. Marshall was on a bye week last week. New Braunfels won 25-22 over Wagner. You got Floresville winning 40-27 over Lockhart. They maintained at number 10. You got Reagan taking care of business like they should have.
Yeah.
56-7 win for them. You got Central Catholic. They took care of business in Houston again.
Yeah.
Pretty much they're running Houston right now.
Yeah, for sure, man.
Hey,
we got one more against St. John's, and we'll see where it's at, man.
Okay. So congrats. Silas leading them. Shout out to Silas Gomez. Next up, number 7, Taft. Taft had a tough one. I love that game. Was really great to watch versus Stevens because you get to see the fight in Stevens, and I love seeing how I know
Hurt's just balling right now, man. That's a tough kid there, boy.
Yeah, and I'm gonna see. This is another that Taft. If you go to Taft, you want to watch this. You want to watch this show. All right. Taft won their game 21-19. They are now 6-1. 7-1, forgive me. Next up, Alamo Heights at number 6. And Brandeis at 5. They were on a bye week. Johnson comes in at number 4. And boy, did Madison give them some hell.
Yeah.
42-35 victory for Johnson. And we are going to be talking about Johnson as well. I keep forgetting if I have Madison on the docket or not, but we're going to go through it. Number 3, Cibolo Steel. That was the toughest 21-0 win that I've seen.
Yeah.
And if you remember on the pre-show, for all those who watch on the pre-show, and if you don't watch the pre-show, now you understand that Along the Wire has a pre-show that, we do a little forecasting of what's on the show. And the squad that they played against is a squad that I was referencing in the pre-show that we're going to talk about because they have a bright future in Clemens. So Cibolo Steel won 21-0. Smithson Valley, they took care of business and won their game 41-6. And Brennan's
still doing their thing.
And I have to apologize to Brennan because I did a disservice and assumed in that one, and I did not watch that game. But they handled business 54-7 over O'Connor. So that is the top 25 for San Antonio, Texas, week 8. So let me know what y'all think. Is there anything on the Twitter feed or anything yet? All right, nothing yet? Awesome. So now.
What's up? What do you got? What you got?
Now, like this show is called, this is the mid-season review, right?
Yeah.
There's only a couple of weeks left. We're about 7 games, a little bit past, but, we had our bye week, so it's the off. When it's 8 weeks, you've played 7 games and stuff like that. So, anyway, we are going to go through some teams that our producer is going to toss to us, and I'm going to talk about the team, and let me know what you think, or we can conversate about it. Sweet?
All right, let's go.
Brandeis. All right, what is Brandeis' record? Brandeis has a 6-1 record.
All right.
Lone loss is 4 points, right? Lone loss is a 4-point loss to Johnson. Let me get my notes, baby. I was eyes ready for this. All right. So Brandeis. We are going to talk about Brandeis in the aspect of they're a good squad. They're an upper echelon squad in San Antonio, Texas. And but what can they do to get over that hump or to be an even better squad when it comes to facing squads in the playoffs? We got faith in them from previous history on previous squads, their notoriety of getting out the city, but then losing to Austin Westlakes, right? Old coach, old team, and I do my best to try to separate that. There are expectations in the community and everything like that. Let me not go on. So now they're under Coach Bruce. Last year, they did not make the playoffs. This year, they look like they have a handily spot in making the playoffs. They've got 3 games left: Madison, Churchill, Reagan. My estimation in those games is that's going to be, you can beat Madison.
So go ahead.
All right. You can beat Madison. You can beat Churchill. You have to outcoach Reagan.
I would agree and disagree.
Okay.
I agree with Reagan is going to give him hell.
Right.
I think Madison has the athletes to give him some hell. You know what I mean?
I agree.
If Clark gave him some trouble, I think that Madison can give him some trouble.
Okay.
I mean, look what Madison did this past weekend. You know what I mean?
Right.
So they just got Nevion Coop back as well. So
I forgot about that.
It's more of a quarterback play.
Right.
It's one of those things that we've talked about in the past. If you can get some consistent quarterback play out there at Brandeis, we know they're going to run, but we need to get some passing in as well. We know where the defense stands.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Also, if they can get Rave involved a little bit more, that would be awesome. So there's some things that Brandeis would have to do to completely say, yeah, they're going to take that game.
Right.
I'm not not saying that I'm not fully confident. I love what they're doing out there, but at the same time, I mean, if I'm
it's going to be a good game.
It's going to be. If I'm going to be honest, there's some dogs on that Madison side that that Aiden can't guard everybody. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
He's going to be on one side of the field to have another kid on the other.
That's going to be a great matchup to watch too.
So there's going to be
whoever he's lined up against.
Yeah, there's going to be some guys out there, man. So I see where they can possibly lose 2 games still, man, if they don't come out ready.
Right.
And that's in Madison and Reagan.
Right. Okay. So to your point exactly. Brandeis at this point is giving up 13 points per game and averaging 38 points a game. Now, and you said his name, Aiden. I think Aiden is the key in his usage in all 3 phases of the game. Mm-hmm. You add him in and you make him a priority in just being out there. I'm not saying you got to throw him the football, but he's going to have to take up a defender because he has to be respected. He possibly has the best hands on the team, period. I know they have their receivers, Julian. They've got 2 tight ends in Rafe and Alex.
Yeah.
And they've also got Ulrich at the receiver. So you're going to have your hands full with everybody who can make plays. Throw Aiden in there, and he can be a comfort blanket to Nico. If you don't have J.C. Evans, and they might have one of the best 2 quarterback combos because they do different things.
Yeah.
And if you underestimate one, then boom, you have Aiden here as a blanket.
Yeah.
So I think that's going to be a very important tool for Coach Bruce to unleash and start feeding him more throughout the season, because arguably if you use him more versus Johnson, you might be undefeated right now.
Yeah.
So that is a major key. How is Coach Bruce going to use Aiden in all 3 phases of the game? Because he's got to have the ball, because that's going to be a game plan that they use against Brandeis, period, is keeping the ball away from Aiden. All right. So Brandeis, let's use all weapons in your disposal is my overall assumption of the team, because we know they're a good San Antonio squad. How to get them over the hump and be more of a threat? Use all weapons at your disposal. Who's next? Clemens. All right. Now, this is a school giving everybody hell, and I am going to bring up their schedule right now.
I mean, they're giving everybody hell, but are we talking them going to the playoffs deep?
No.
This year? I do not see them going to the playoffs deep.
No.
Not at all. But as far as them being a team to ruin somebody's playoff hopes,
right?
Definitely.
Exactly.
Definitely. They have a lot of young talent. I see them doing stuff in the future. But as far as now, I don't see them making a run.
So when we've talked about Brennan, the school that we brought up, them having a tough game against is Clemens.
Yeah.
They won that game. They lost that game 27-10. They lost to Madison 14-5. They lost to San Benito 13-7. They beat South San. They beat Judson. They lost to a team that might win district in Smithson Valley 51-0. Other than that, they've been in every game outside of Steele. But like I said, that was one of the toughest 21-0 games that I've seen played.
I mean, that's a rivalry game.
Exactly.
Every rivalry game is going to be, a game like that.
So
I see the San Benito. They probably could have won, but of course you're playing in San Benito on the road, home field advantage. There have to have been some calls. It went their way, San Benito's way. Not to mention that was a 4.5 hour drive for a football team to travel and then get off and play.
Right.
You play that here at home at Clemens, they easily win that one. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Brennan lost. That was a good game, like you said, but that was really early on in the season. You play Brennan right now, it's a blowout.
Right.
Guaranteed blowout.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So
they've got 3 left: Wagner, New Braunfels, and East Central. Those are all good games.
Yeah.
Good games.
Yeah. The Wagner game, that's going to be a good game. I see Clemens possibly taking that one just because Wagner's not a disciplined team. One thing I give Clemens is they're pretty disciplined.
Yes.
For the most part.
Yeah.
They played really good defense. So they can pop anything off on special teams at any point with the bows back there.
Yeah, and they've got juniors and sophomores that are just now getting onto the field.
Yeah.
And just now going to bloom. So for the next couple of years, that's going to be the squad that when you come across them, they're giving you hell right now, and they're listening to their coaches but not fully knowing exactly what to do. So once they know what to do and they mature a little bit physically, then that's going to be a squad that all right, so I wasn't planning on asking for a record for the rest of the season, but I think the worst I see them doing is 1-2, and the best being 2-1. With the only I'll say 1-2, but it's so many ifs, maybes. I can see 2-1.
So who do you see them losing to?
New Braunfels would be the only one that I'd see them losing to.
I see them losing New Braunfels and East Central.
And that's the one that I was gritting my teeth on, was the East Central, because it's just athlete per athlete in that one. That's going to be a hell of a game, man. These end of the season, and this is a below 500 school that we're talking about.
Yeah, and that Wagner one is a possible loss too,
exactly.
Man. So it's going to be tough all the way around.
So if you get what we're talking about with Clemens, is that they're in a transition. You don't lose the talent and the leadership that they had and not take a hit somewhat.
So what's your prediction with them coming up?
Versus Wagner? I'll give them the win versus Wagner.
I see that. I mean, Wagner's at 2-5 right now?
Mm-hmm.
And I see Wagner, they've kind of given up on – there's a possibility they kind of giving it up. You know what I mean?
Unless they're going to start working on who's coming up for the next year, you start getting those type of games and those lineups putting in there. You know?
Mean, true. But I see so I see them losing to East Central and New Braunfels. So I see them coming out 1-2.
Okay. I can roll with that. I can roll with 1-2. And that's exactly because East Central will have something to play for too coming up.
Yeah.
Exactly. All right. So overall, Clemens is in a maturation stage and they have a bright future. What I have down here, you got Nathan Alvarez, Freddie DeBose, Jameer Dudley, Evan Tapp. So you've got a good nucleus for the next couple years to come. All right. Who's next? East Central. Just talked about them, and I'm excited. I'm excited about East Central. I'm happy to see them because I was pleasantly shocked. They've got 3 games left: New Braunfels, Smithson Valley, and Clemens.
So
this next week, like I mentioned,
New Braunfels is going to be a tough one for them.
Yes.
Really tough.
Yes.
There's a possibility New Braunfels can pull that one out.
Right.
Smithson Valley will beat them. I know Smithson Valley will beat them. And then I think they can pull out the Clemens one.
Right. So overall, highest ceiling is 2-1.
What do you see? What do you predict?
I see 1-2, the only win coming versus Clemens, but that's just because of the game that I think new Braunfels, that offensive line. I want to see exactly Riker Purdy running game is what I'm thinking, and let me not talk too much about New Braunfels because I want to get on East Central. They're on a 3-game win streak. Only losses are to San Marcos and Steele. And I think if they played San Marcos right now, that they'd win.
Yeah.
I was pleasantly shocked to see that they're only 5 and that they're 5-2. I think that the key to this squad is something that we mentioned at the beginning of the season: get the ball to Jack Stewart. You got a gamer in Caden Basenko. Definitely, we know he can run the ball, and we know that they'll forcibly run the ball. But when you have a guy like Jack Stewart, obviously, I mean, you don't want to force it into triple coverage, but if he's making catches like that, then if you have a window, then you try to seize that window because he can make those 50-50 balls into 80-20s.
And they have, I mean, East Central has athletes out there.
Yeah.
I mean, there's not only Jack Stewart.
You got Cornell George on defense at linebacker.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm definitely going to be looking at more film of East Central's defense because I think they make timely plays. And when you can get teams behind on down and distance, then that just helps you play a lot better.
I see them making a run this year, man. I just see that if they really want to do something, they got to show that they can beat a Smith and Valley.
Right.
You know what I mean?
If
you give Smith and Valley a game and you can come out with the W, now we're cooking with some grease there. But
exactly,
until you beat a Smith and Valley, you beat a Judson, but that was early on, and that's what we didn't know what Judson had at the time, and how Judson was going to react.
Who's Smith and Valley?
No, New Braunfels.
Oh yes. You
know what I mean? So like the New Braunfels got that W on Judson.
Mm-hmm.
You would have to almost have where East Central has a win on Smith and Valley or something.
Right.
You know what I mean? To know that, hey, we can beat
so
someone.
Kind of like one played a unfocused and the other one played a refocused and beat the refocused.
Exactly.
Right. So you really got the better shot and got the better win.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I got you. So that's East Central. 3 games remain. I guess we both agree on 1 and 2 being the highest that we see for the last 3 games.
And they beat up a Judson. You know what I mean? And New Braunfels did that. But can you do it to a Smith and Valley? If they do Smith and Valley, I see them making a run.
Yeah.
And I mean, Caden deserves it. Basenko, I mean, he's a senior quarterback. He's been doing his thing since his sophomore year.
And that's the thing when it comes down to these games.
Experience, bro.
Experience
is the position.
Experience. Who's up next for us? That was East Central. Harlan Hawks. And this is a pleasant surprise again. I've been using that word, but hell, when it applies, it definitely applies. Let me get to my Harlan notes.
I mean, Harlan is another squad that has a young QB. You know what I mean? It's barely starting to play, but they're relying a little more on their defense right now.
Exactly, and that's
and I see them.
And do you know what I slipped up on? I slipped up on the fact that you look at the players that they have returning who didn't get the playoff game last year. That makes you look at this season in a different light.
Mm-hmm.
And Xavier leading that defense, he's not going to let anybody be off.
Yeah. I see them going 1-1. You know what I mean?
They've got 2 left.
They got a tough one in Marshall. That one, I mean, that's going to be a nail biter, man. If they can pull out the Marshall.
If they could stop that run game.
If they could beat Marshall, that tells me that they'll be able to sneak in the playoffs and do something.
Yes.
But if they can't beat Marshall and they still beat out and win at the end against Warren.
Mm-hmm. And Warren's not a pushover either. And Warren's one of those schools that will throw the ball like crazy and test those DBs at Warren.
Yeah.
I just think that district has a lot of fight in it. That's one that we always talk about with Marshall, Taft, and exactly how, Taft's coach said, every game's a fight versus Stevens.
No, I just see them going possibly 1-1 there.
1-1 with the long loss to Marshall.
Yeah.
Agreed. But them starting off, let's see, they're getting hot at the right time. Attrition made them tighter and made other players step up. And I mean, and when you underestimate a squad and they're not for play, then you can step up and beat a squad like Holmes.
Yeah.
And they put it on Jay. If I'm not mistaken, the same way Holmes did, if not better, more. So I'm looking at them. Let me go over my notes again. Only losses are to Taft and Brennan and Clark. Clark was previously ranked, and that's a squad that, can knock somebody off. Clark. And so, and they've gone back and forth. For some reason, when I'm thinking of Harlan, it feels like they started off 0-3, and now they've won 5 in a row. But it's actually been up and down.
Yeah, because they lost to Clark 28-14.
Mm-hmm.
Then they lost to Brennan.
That was the first game of the year.
They lost to Brennan 44-10.
Right. That was their third game.
Then they lost to Taft 42-35.
And that was their fifth game.
Yeah.
And it's like it's been up and down seesaw. So just now getting it right, they've won their last 2.
Mm-hmm.
They've won their last 2 games. And they've got 2 games left in district. I see them going 1-1, and I think they're a legit top 4 team in that district, and a school that you might not have thought of making the playoffs. Now they're gonna slip in at that 4 probably.
Yeah, but they haven't had any quality wins. I mean,
right.
you beat a Stevens who's a beat up Stevens team,
right?
Then you got O'Connor team that you beat up, and they beat Stevens 38-24,
right?
And then you beat O'Connor
better than Taft did
21-3, and then John Jay 38-7, and of course Holmes. So I mean, Marshall will really show me if they're really real.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Yeah.
That'll be a test for them.
So Harlan, gear up for Marshall. Marshall, get ready to get Harlan's best shot, because if anybody's underestimating them, it's not them on the squad. They're playing off of y'all underestimating them.
Yeah.
So Harlan, go after it. And it's been good to see them just fighting, because exactly how I said earlier, it felt like they were 0-3, but they've just been lost win.
It's just because we're so used to big names, the Dre Spriggs, the Cannon Williams, and
going through this squad, it's not
new squad.
Yeah,
it's like some
they're
new guys
making their names.
Yeah, new identity, bro.
Exactly. So while we said one name, Xavier Walton, we know Xavier. He's a senior on the squad.
Yeah.
So
his little brother's making some noise as well.
Yeah. So that is Harlan for us right now. Who is the next squad that we are talking about?
Johnson Jaguars with Coach Soto out there doing a great job.
Yes.
Disciplined team.
So
let's play some smash mouth football right now.
Let's talk Johnson, because I got something that I want to say for the city of San Antonio with Johnson. Coach Soto, exactly how you said. They are 8-0 right now. 8-0.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going through their squad. I'm looking at them, and let me give a breakdown of who I have as one of the top backs in the city. Ben McCreary. What is he, 5'10", 5'11", 190 pounds? I like this kid. He's over 1,200 yards rushing and 19 touchdowns so far this season.
Has he already cracked 1,200?
Right there. Multiple 200-yard performances. He is a workhorse. Last game he had 38 carries, something like that for 238 yards. I like him because he runs to daylight. He uses angles when he's in the open field to avoid the rusher. That's something that I've been begging for San Antonio high school football players to do, was understand the angles that you are running at. And Ben McCreary clearly understands how to run away from somebody.
Yeah.
So him using that speed, he's patient. He's able to find the holes that the offensive linemen are making for him. You don't see him rushing to the line and getting tackled because he's chopping his feet. No, he's able to know the timing, able to take the handoff, hit the holes, and accelerate at the right times.
Yeah.
He doesn't overuse his physicality, but he can be a physical running back. and he has good visions, and most importantly, running backs are probably the person who touches the ball the second most time other than the quarterback.
Yeah.
No fumbles.
Well, no, he's playing well, and most importantly, I think the coaching staff is doing a great job of not only managing him but managing the play calling. I mean, as I'm looking right here, I mean, you got basically, I mean, this is not updated with the 8th game.
Right,
This
exactly.
is the 7th game.
Exactly.
But you got, as far as total yards and passing yards, you got 1,445,
Yeah.
right? And then on rushing yards, your total, you got 1,546. So that's a balanced offense. So that shows that they're establishing the run well, coming off with some play action and getting the pass going as well, So
exactly.
they're doing a hell of a job of keeping it 50-50. And when you face a team that's balanced like that, that's tough to stop, because that shows you that they're not just relying on just the running game, or they're just not relying on the passing game, that they're an actual football team.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. So Ben McCreary, we talked about him. A player that I want to talk about, Alex Tavares, Alejandro Alex. Number 11, special player. I see getting yak. Shifty athlete. I think he is a difference maker. I think a lot of times when you talk about Johnson, and you've talked about them in the past, they're another squad that lost D1 talent. They've been losing D1 talent for years. When you go from their running back a couple years ago going to UTSA, then last year they lose Shane and they lose Ty, and then they insert Cruz, and you have Kanan able to now develop. Yeah. Because I remember seeing him 2 years ago, and I said it when he was on the show. Now he's a full-blown monster. You got to watch him, because he's going to moss people. And now you have a complimentary receiver with a different style in Alex, and he's only a junior.
Yeah, Alex is a junior, and it looks like right now he's their leading receiver, and then it looks like they're distributing the ball well.
Exactly.
To 3, 4, 5, actually 5 more receivers. So that tells you something when you got all, receivers getting over 200 yards, 300 yards. So.
And exactly how you said, I think their quarterback has, he has 14 touchdown passes, not including the last game, and 7 interceptions. He's 92 of 154 passing with 1,400 passing yards. So like you said, they're divvying that ball up. But I think that for the athlete that they haven't had in the past at that position,
Alex is doing a great job.
Alex is him.
Yeah.
Alex is him. And when you get outside of the city, you've got to have athletes. And you got to have somebody with a special quick twitch, hunger. And I'll get back to that if another school pops up here.
And that was almost like Ethan Gonzalez last year when he stepped up huge for Stevens when they got out of the city. He was their guy.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? He was, even though they didn't beat Westlakes, he was making some plays against them Westlakes DBs.
Right. So, and then once again, we're talking about offense. On defense, you got CJ Adair at linebacker, and you got their defensive lineman Samuel Ohade. Excuse me for messing that up. Samuel Ohade. So Coach Soto's got some talent to work with, and you got players that are buying into the system. You got players that are paying attention and executing on the field, and I think Johnson is a serious threat outside of the Steele and Brennans. So
that's the team that's possibly going to be representing San Antonio deep in the playoffs this year.
Exactly. They've got all the pieces there, and they've got all the pieces there, and Johnson is for real coming out of San Antonio, Texas high school football. So props to Coach Soto, and congrats to Johnson on the season that y'all are having right now. Let's go. Who's next? Judson.
Keep on going.
We got 20 minutes. Let's see.
Flip to the next one, please.
Let's see. All right. Judson's got 3 games left. Smithson Valley, Steele, and Wagner. But this is a stat that I wanted to say. And I wanted to give props to the guy who gave me the stat. So I will have to tweet him out afterwards. I'll make the clip and tag you on it, man. So for the first time since before either of us was born, Judson's going to possibly end the season at 500 or worse. You know the last time that they had a 500 season or worse?
What was that?
1977.
Wow.
Right.
And I mean, it's
right.
Coaching staff, bro. I just got to say that, bro. I mean, you probably get some bad replies, whatever, but I mean, you got talent there, man. You have talent there. That's always been a gold mine for talent, and you have the facilities, you have the support. I mean, I know those Judson games aren't packed anymore, but I mean, you used to have them stadiums rocking, bro.
Right.
I mean, those were the Judson Rockets.
Right.
And it's like we ended up losing the mojo or something, man.
So what I have for them, man, they could be 0-3, and I'm not gonna be foolish and go the opposite way. But they have pieces needing discipline and to play with fire and focus. You know, there was a reason I was tweeting out that Jeremiah Dunn was running how he needs to run, because that entire team needs to run like their ass is on fire. They need to bust it like their ass is on fire. And no matter how much talent you have, if you're not going to run with the heart that he showed that night, then it doesn't matter.
Yeah, there's just a lot of things that I see on social media from different kids, you know, that are attending there, and I think it's more about me instead of where's this program going right now. You know what I mean? And I hate saying this, you know, kids are kids, but at the end of the day, man, if I was a Judson Rocket football player, I wouldn't be tweeting anything. I mean, we got bigger fish to worry about right now, bro. I mean, I wouldn't be tweeting about myself. I wouldn't be tweeting about, like I said, anything. It's just more like, hey, let's get our football program back on track and let's just shut this social media stuff down.
Right. But, because I mean, like, and I know Judson players do this. Oh, what squad were you on? So what are you gonna say or answer to that?
Yeah.
Because they'd be like, oh, you were on that squad? Okay, do you know such and such? And that's, I mean, because it's a community, exactly how you said.
Yeah.
It's a family. I mean, and all football programs are like that, but you know when you go to Judson and you know when those conversations are had, how it goes. Oh, you played for who? What squad? How'd y'all do? Blah, 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 blah. You have that. You don't want to be you don't want to be this squad having to say that with the talent that you have and the opportunities. So
and maybe it was just I hate saying this, maybe it was a bad, because we heard a lot of stories throughout this whole thing, you know, this season. And I mean, because we're always out there at the football games. Maybe it was just a bad group of kids this year, man. You didn't have no leaders that you thought you did in that locker room, and you lost the team. And, you know, we had discipline issues. We had grade issues. We got everything, all kinds of issues. Where
and it shows up.
Normally, you're going to have issues once again because they're kids. And yeah, you hear about it. But this year, I think it was a little more off track than normal. You know what I mean? And I think that, you know, like I said, once you lose the team and you lose respect from your coach, I mean, it's hard to get that back. It really is, man. And until you get those seniors out, the ones that are,
and it can happen anywhere.
It can, bro. I mean, you taint that water real quick. You lose that locker room and it's downhill. And I think perfect example right now is UTSA, man. That locker room is bought in.
Yeah,
that is bought. They are bought in, man. And if as long as they keep doing that, everything's going fine. You know what I mean? And the same thing in the high school level. If you can buy in that whole locker room, man, sky's the limit, bro.
All right. So, who's next up for us? New Braunfels. Anything on the internets, as the elders would say. All right, cool. So I'm gonna expect my DMs to be on fire. Let's see. The New Braunfels, and actually that is the one that was my last team that I was doing before I came to the studio. So let's just talk about them real quick. I know you have them pulled up.
New Braunfels is a disciplined team. Another team that lost a quarterback that they had for a while. You know, I see them. You know, maybe going to the first round, depending on who they match up with. But anything past that, you know, I don't see them being successful.
So I like that they lean on their run game.
Yeah.
But they also have, you know, they have timely passing plays too. So, and I love that they got East Central, Clemens, and they could go 3-0.
Oh, no doubt. Easy.
They could go 3-0.
The only threat I see them is with
East
East Central. We talked about that,
and I think that Clemens game will be entertaining.
Yeah, it will because I mean, one thing I give Clemens is they have a hell of a defense, and not only that, their coaching staff make great adjustments, and they do. I mean, they put you in great position to try to be successful. You know what I mean? And just sometimes right now you got some inexperience there, but they're going to be in the ball game. I guarantee you that because of their defense.
Yeah, if you're in a ball game with Steele and Brennan the entire game, and Brennan pulls away late, I expect you to be in a game with New Braunfels, and I know that New Braunfels isn't taken that lightly at all, and that and they're a squad that even when they lost to Smithson Valley, it wasn't an unfocused group. I didn't see anybody with their head down or things like that, but you take it in stride. So this is a group that I'm definitely seeing taking things in stride, and props to every player that knows not to Coach Mangold. I'm sorry.
And I know this might be off topic, but Port Saint Saint, man, them dudes don't have the athletes over there, and they got them over here playing with these big old schools. I mean, I think they should have them back over here playing whenever West Campus gets their stuff together and play the Harlandales, play Southside, even try to get in with Southwest or even Southwest Legacy because you got them here down the road. But yeah, you got Southwest Legacy and Southwest going, down to Del Rio and pass over there to play ball games, man.
True, and I've always been one for them to go to SAISD. I think that would just be a match, even with the enrollment. But just,
I mean, yeah, but they got the enrollment, but they don't have the talent,
right?
You know what I
mean? So let me go down this real quick. You gotta love how Max Preps just knows that you need something in there. Like,
what are you looking for, man?
I was going down the roster so I can make sure that I was going over the players because that was the last team that I was doing before coming into the studio.
The players of what?
On their roster. Just going down the names because I know them by the name and not the number. Okay, Here we go. Like I mentioned earlier, Riker Purdy, Landon Marsh. I don't think I've seen somebody run harder than Landon Marsh after the catch. Like you gotta, you need at least 3-4 people to take this kid down. So like all that energy and whatever I'm talking about that needs to happen in San Antonio for kids to start getting these looks, and we're about to cut it down here because we're starting to run into some names that I want to make sure that, but he's a prime example. You got heart, then you play with it. If your heart's beating, then you're trying, and that's how Landon Marsh plays, and that's what needs to happen.
Yeah.
So shout out New Braunfels. We both have them going 3-0, or think they can go 3-0. Ew, what kind of accent was that?
You're right, yo. You're right,
3-0. 3-0. To close out the system.
You're right.
Close out the season. Shoot. And I swear I'm ready. I'm ready.
Take a deep breath. 3, 2, 1. 1, 2, 3.
New Braunfels can go 3-0 to close out the season, and I definitely see them as a playoff team.
No doubt, man.
Who's next up for us, or is that it? I feel like we've gone through a lot of teams.
Reagan.
All right.
Reagan.
Shout out Coach Hamilton.
Yep.
I think he's doing a great job of game management and play calling with major pieces being out. Just recently lost Britton Moore to injury after already being down. Carson Green.
Yeah.
Only losses this season are to Brennan and Steele. 3 district games left. I think they have, of all the teams that we've talked about, they've got the toughest schedule coming up. Roosevelt, Johnson, and Brandeis. What do you think?
I mean, but most importantly, they're 5-0 pretty much in district play.
Right.
You know what I mean? So
yeah, they're a playoff squad.
Yeah, so
finishing out.
I think if Johnson has any game where they can lose, it's going to be to Reagan when they play against Johnson. And the reason I say that because that's a rivalry game. That's a backyard game right there. So those games are usually tough. Brandeis,
that's a 50-50.
That's a 50-50.
But see, that's where I think it comes down to coaching.
Yeah.
That's where I think it comes down to coaching.
And I'll give Hamilton's squad, his coaching squad, the upper hand on that one.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's a possibility they can easily go 3-0 going out, man. And
but it depends on how. That's why I say, and that's why I love talking San Antonio high school football.
Because again, Steele, dude, think about it, Steele's a tough team, bro, and they barely lost 14-6.
Yeah.
And then of course, Brennan, that's the first game of the season, man. And let's be real. I mean, Brennan, you can get those athletes together and let's just go.
Yeah.
And you got enough athletes that they'll ball, bro.
Yeah.
And Reagan's more of a scheme team.
Exactly.
You know, you gotta have put the players in the position to be successful. And
exactly.
I think Reagan matches up well with
Hamilton's good at that.
Yeah, and I think they all match up well with all these squads ending out the season, man.
So I think at the highest 2-1. 2-1 at the highest, 1-2 possible. Where do you lean?
Who?
On Reagan, finishing off. 2-1?
Nah, I'm gonna go with the 3-0 on that one.
Ooh, nice. Nice. He's going with Reagan 3-0, so that would make them district champs.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know if there's anybody that can knock off Johnson. I think it would be them.
I gotta go 2-1 with wins over Brandeis and Roosevelt.
I mean, I like the Johnson team. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, exactly.
But I just want to spice this up a little bit now.
Okay, I'll make sure you have your pass for that game.
Spice this one up. Bro.
Exactly. All right, so Reagan, you have them 3-0. I've got them 2-1. All right.
I mean,
is that last, or do we have somebody else? That's it. Roosevelt, is that the last one? I got two more. Whoa, Roosevelt. All right, let's just blow through this one real quick. They have got to have consistency as a whole. Feed off your positivity and not slide down with the negativity. They seem to play with the slippery slope syndrome mentality. They've got 2 games left in Reagan and Churchill, 1-1 at the best. Can they surprise Reagan?
Nah, bro.
Okay, next up, Steele. All right. How can I breeze through this one? All right, 3 games left. South San, Judson, Smithson Valley. What do they go to you?
Shit, man. They might lose to Smithson Valley.
So 2-1?
Yeah.
I agree. 2-1. Last game of the season will possibly decide district because they'll both be undefeated. I definitely have them both going into that game undefeated. So that's going to be the district deciding game per our estimation.
Yep.
Talent everywhere. Running backs and Bailey and Singleton. DBs, Hook, Cortez, Javon. Linebacker, converted running back and Farner. And then Thompson as well. On the D-line, you have Elmore. And I haven't even talked about receivers yet or offense, but that is their best foot is that defense.
Yeah.
And them losing a quarterback like Wyatt, and they're rolling. Coach Signs is putting stuff together and playing to their strengths. And, you know, even though I talked about, you know, that being a tough game versus Clemens, you lean on that running game.
Yeah.
You lean on your O-line, and boom.
Defense.
Exactly. So I have them, you know what? No, they're going to beat Smithson Valley. They're going to beat Smithson Valley. So that's my version of spicing it up right now.
Hell yeah.
All right. I'll take Steele. I'll take Steele, man, but them coaches. Every time I just see Coach Hill doing little Rangers shuffle.
Yes, sir.
Man, I'm not going against him like that, man. God, dog. But I'm taking Steele. Shout out Coach Science. All right, next up, Taft. I haven't even talked about Taft, and Lord, I wanted to talk about Taft. You know what? Yeah, let's finish out talking to Taft, and then I know I had the All-Star game, but I can do a special or something like that. But let's talk about Taft, because I had a special conversation, and I had somebody bring up Jordan Battles.
Mm-hmm.
when they looked at Taft and their use. And you mentioned Hurt being nice, but when you have something special, use it, don't abuse it. I think they've got plenty of threats for them to be able to sprinkle in more passing opportunities. They've got a receiver in Jamel Criswell. They are a great squad. But I think for them to reach that next level, there's got to be more implementations, because when you go back and look at Jordan's numbers, it was kind of ridiculous. He didn't have 100 passing attempts in a season before, but he runs almost 2,000 yards or something like that.
Yeah, what it is, I think it's trust, bro, to be honest with you. I mean, you have Twizzle back there, but
he's not big as Jordan. And that
No, I mean, I'm talking about whenever he Hurts is throwing it to Jamal, what is it, Jamal Criswell?
Criswell.
Yeah, when he's throwing to Criswell, I mean, Criswell's not, he's a big guy, but he's not consistent. There's some good passes, some slants that he'll drop, stuff like that. And I think once there's more trust, I think they'll start unleashing the pass more. A lot of those are designed runs where they drop back because they think you're gonna throw it to that big receiver because he's a big receiver.
Yeah, he's definitely running in more space than Jordan was.
Yeah, he is, because you have the receiver spreading it out. But then not only that, you got a running back, man, who's big. And he doesn't really punish you as far as a running back. You know what I mean? I'm just being honest.
Yes.
I wish that kid would be able to punish you more, because he has a great frame coming downhill, but it's like he almost slows down a little bit. I mean, that's like a Derrick Henry type of high school athlete right there. He's big.
6'2", 200 pounds.
But he needs to come downhill a little bit more. If he were to get help out of him and also your receivers and being more consistent, that team would really be a threat. But if I'm on opposite squad and I shut down the quarterback, man, we're good. We're gravy.
That's exactly how you end up in 21-19 games with Stevens.
Yeah, because they shut him down. They try to just play the edges, trying to funnel them in. You know what I mean?
Because I mean,
yards.
Yeah, I mean, and like I said, I'm an optimist, and we're talking about this from an angle of everybody being better representing the city. So it's not a detriment to anybody that, our ideas of how things can and possibly should go, because they've all shown a ability to do so. Now, to increase that ability, you've got to get better, and you've got to do certain things. You've got to be more consistent as receivers. Of course, you're going to call more runs if you're not catching the ball when we're throwing, because a couple weeks ago, I was going to come in here and just completely go off, because as a city, and this ends the Taft. So Taft, all right, how many games they got left? Oh no, I didn't even go that. Let me look at their games real quick.
I think they might have 2 left.
Yeah.
No, but I just see them. I would like to see if the receivers can be more consistent as far as their running game to help Hurt out, and that would be where I can say, hey, they're going to be a dominant force in the playoffs. But I'm not able to say that right now about that squad.
See, and once again, come on.
What's your predictions on them?
I think they could make it to the third round again, but unless there's a variance in the offense and the play calling, I just don't want to see it, because I mean, we know Jordan was hurt, so I don't want to see him in that position. I'm not sure he can truck it. I
mean, because I see them winning out. They can go 2-0.
They got
O'Connor and Jay.
Yes, 2-0.
Yeah.
All right, we are down to our last 60 seconds. Can I run over a minute? All right. Oh, Central Catholic. I had Central Catholic. Okay, I forgot. So anything that they can do to make it further than the first round.
Central Catholic?
Yeah, I'll defer.
Central Catholic has to get their DB play in order to make a true run.
Mm-hmm.
I think right now they're relying a lot on the offense, and of course, their defensive line playing well and their linebackers are playing well. But as far as our corners, our DB play is horrible right now. I mean, if they can get it together and find a consistent corner as far as 2 cornerbacks, they'll make a run, man. But I don't see them going, all the way, man. And that's being for real. You know what I mean? I see. I mean, if it's going to be something like that, it's always going to be a shootout every game. Your offense is going to have to be going every game. It's going to be a shootout, bam, 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 and you're going to win within field goals or extra points. You know what I mean? And you're probably going to have to start going for 2 now just to start preparing for that, because, like I said, if your defense isn't going to be making the stops that you need to, come playoff time, it's going to be just a shootout on offense. It's going to be a shootout on offense, and like I said, they need to start working on 2-point conversions, you know what I mean, just to get that ready.
Right. So it won't be a shock.
Yeah, so
when you get to the playoffs, especially in the playoffs, when it might be needed.
Yep. When you get to the playoffs, you're going to be like, hey, man, we're going to have to go for 2. And then be like, what? Nah, start doing it now, man, because I see that, using that as one of the ways to get the upward advantage later on. You know what I mean? You make a couple of 2-point conversions, that's 6 points out of 3 touchdowns,
Right.
So anything you can do to help on your end.
Right. All right. So I did have, I wanted to give advice to San Antonio high school football players, but I think I'm going to break that up in little segments or into little clips and share them on Twitter. So that way it's directly to everybody on the feed, and I'll send them to you as well. I don't want to misspeak or anything, but there's a temperament that's got to change in the San Antonio high school football player. And if it be position wise, but there's got to be something. There's got to be something, because I keep thinking back to the offer stat that I put out there. There's no reason that 4 kids in Austin should have more offers than 10 kids combined in San Antonio. That just doesn't make sense. So whatever I can do in as far as advice and things that I'm hearing and understanding, I will give directly to you, and maybe like short minute clips. And that's what it'll be. I wanted to do this on the show, but I love talking about the squads and how they are going to be doing in the future, possibly, and a mid-season review. And we've been gone for 2 weeks. So thank you for watching this Along the Wire on our platform on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. Make sure you follow me at B Damone on Twitter, at Along the Wire on Facebook, and at B Damone on Instagram. Follow Coach Gomez at
STX7V7 on Twitter.
This has been Level Up Production Studios, Along the Wire, episode 130. Shout out UTSA again. Birds up, hook 'em, 210. We out.